Welcome back to Daybreak. Karibuni sana. Quite the heated discussion some and since you're having then. We're going to pick up on it towards the tail end of this engagement today on Engage. I had to. Well, the hashtag to use is still Daybreak. Today on Engage, we're talking about dealing with abusive relationships and why some people stay in abusive relationships. And then, of course, is their way of escape. To help us do that, Annitah Raey is here. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Why are you laughing? Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm now 1 day old. So wise for my age. And CJ Atemo is here as well.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
No, I was just going to say what she said. Happy
You're
belated
looking
birthday.
at him like you have something
like
to say.
But you know, it's yesterday was April's Fool's Day,
Yes.
so I'm not even sure that birthday is.
Oh, it's real.
Your birthday it is
Yes,
true,
well.
manake you, my father, wengi wako wanaamini, but yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so, right, you can also, remember you can talk to us using the hashtag Daybreak. You can also SMS us on 22422, and then you can also call in, and those will be appearing shortly. Normally it is not like this. See, there's a lot of space here. But it adjusts soon, then you'll see those numbers and avenues which you can call. But the number to call, at least the one that I have crammed, is 0719 777 That number again, 0719 777 If you have your comments about dealing, if you are in an abusive relationship and you want some help, you can call in, or if you have an idea why people stay in abusive relationships out of experience or otherwise, you can also share them, and we welcome them as well. Right, we want to start this conversation off by Annitah Raey. I'll ask you a question because I heard you once on radio with Jeff and Hamo.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your own experience of being in an abusive relationship. Maybe let's start there. Maybe you can tell a little bit. I know it's a pretty long story, emotional one as well. But maybe you can tell us like a bit of your story so we can put it into context.
I think where do I start? I got married at 17, quite young. CJ is looking at me like it makes sense now. And I think you think you know everything, you've seen everything, and you rush into, you think marriage is a good thing, or you think marriage is just someone loves you, you love them, and you live together. And he was 10 years older than me.
So he was
he was 27, so he was already working. And the first time he hit me, I think, was 6 months into the marriage. I asked it's a long story, but I asked a question that he didn't like. So he hit me, and I was so scared. My father has never hit me, so I didn't know how to take that. I think I broke down. I called my mom, I called everybody. And I come from a generation that tells you have to persevere. Marriage is not easy. So I took it that way. I was like, I have to persevere. He just hit me once. He said he won't hit me again, right? 2 years down the line, I swear it had gone south, like really, really bad. You fight a lot. And when you get tired of being hit, you start hitting back. You start throwing things. It really, really went bad, Will. It's very bad. And the worst thing about violence is if it's physical and emotional, and it breaks you down mentally, so you start getting used to it. So you think, it's okay, it's normal, we fight. He's going to hit me today, tomorrow, then we're going to work around it. And it actually becomes a routine. But it breaks you so much because you won't have self-esteem. And you see someone who's abusing you doesn't just break you by beating you. He breaks you by telling you you're not beautiful, umepata mtoto, you've become big, who's gonna love you, nobody's gonna even like you. You should be honored, I actually love you. So for you, you have no self-esteem. You don't even have the esteem to go out there and tell people you've been beaten. You wanna cover it up. I cover up, I was being beaten for 4 years.
Wow.
The first time my dad heard of it, he could not believe it. He thought I was actually, he was like, how can you not stay for 4 years? Like, because in my mind, I was protecting him. I didn't want people to know he's beating me. We are married. That's what marriage. In my mind, that's marriage. You protect him, you cover him up, make him look good in society. But in real life, when you go home, he's gonna beat you. He's gonna do, and it broke me so bad, Willis. I think I've not even recovered yet. I left in 2011. How many years down the line? 8. I'm still working on it. It took me like 5 years to get my esteem back because he breaks you mentally before he breaks you physically, and the violence was so bad. And I used to ask, right now when women ask, where do people stay? I tell you, you will never know until you're there. And you feel like staying or making it work is an option, like he's gonna change. The worst thing about us as women, we live on hope. You hope so much, you have so much faith in this person, and every day you tell yourself he's gonna change. If he doesn't beat you for a month, you're like, he's changed. If he sleeps for a month, you're gonna make excuses for him. And I think that's the reason even men stay in abusive relationships. You don't know any better. And you think maybe this is what you deserve. So that's a big reason why people stay in bad and abusive relationships. Yeah.
And before even you continue, CJ, from that the story there, especially the fact where people cover it up, and Annitah is saying especially women, beg your pardon, cover it up because they're like, the hope of this guy will change, or it hasn't happened for 2 weeks, we are on the pathway to recovery. So in such a situation, what can somebody do? Because probably when you're in it, like Annitah said, you might not see it.
Right.
So what can somebody do? Maybe somebody who's probably in that situation right now.
Relationship is built on respect. We focus a lot on love, but there must be mutual respect, where the man respects the woman and the woman respects the man. Abuse comes in where respect has been vacated. That's why somebody will either act superior or even just somehow make you feel inferior. They no longer respect you. And that's why they begin to say certain things, emotionally break you down, mentally break you down, even get to the place of physically, beating you up because there's no longer respect. They do not see you as somebody who is bringing something into that relationship. Mm-hmm. And I think that in a case where respect is lost, you have the obligation to recover your respect. You don't stay in it when you're not being respected. Mm-hmm. You will be mistreated in whichever way, even before it gets to the place where it is physical. You have the obligation to restore your respect, because there must be first self-respect before the other person also can respect you. So when you are finding yourself in a place where somebody talks to you anyhow, they do anything to you, you may need to give them space so that they recover that respect that they have for you, because they see that you respect yourself enough not to stay in a place where somebody's not going to respect you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But for what would somebody do, like, you see, like even using Annitah's example, that, 6 months in, you have this picture of marriage, it's great, then it happens. I've had people say, if it happens the first time, leave. But when it happens, like, what is somebody supposed to do at that point?
At the earliest point where somebody hits you, you need to let somebody else know at the earliest point. Because you see, if somebody can get to the place where they could not control their anger, for whatever reason that it is, to the point where they're going to hit you the first time, they have a problem. And I think that at a place like 6 months, even if you have issues, you're supposed to still be hiding them. If this person has the confidence of treating you in a certain way in the first year, then you should know it's going to be a very rough ride. So that is a very good point to bring in other people. Like, wait a minute, I need to go out and talk about this. What happens, as Annitah was saying, mostly somebody will think, look, it's just 6 months. I don't want anybody to know that we're going through stuff. In fact, most of the cover-up is done in the initial years. People don't want to look like we wedded last week and we fought this week. They want everybody to think it's bliss. It's because of the perception that we have when we're getting married. So they want everybody to think it's bliss, we are fine, we're not broke, we're not struggling, we're not fighting, we're a happy couple. But most of that abuse begins just right there. So people cover up a lot. By the time somebody is talking, people are shocked that this thing started even probably at the honeymoon. And then it's been going on for 10 years. That's when somebody is so tired, is so broken. In fact, sometimes it takes other people to see it. They can see in their eyes, this person is not fine. So somebody will say, you need to talk to me. I think at the earliest that begins, you need to talk to somebody. Just at the earliest. Never feel that because the marriage is young, I need to cover up, we will work it out. No. There's a certain level of abuse that you should never cover up. Yeah.
And so, I'm coming back to Annitah, like at that time, of course, also the fact that you are still young also played into the fear.
Yeah.
But maybe take us through, so what goes on, like, what was going on, like, in your mind at that point? Was it that, like you said, was it because nimefanya makosa? Is it I've done something wrong? Or was it this guy is bad? What was where were you?
Something, Willis, when you have, the problem with most of us, we don't love ourselves. And that's the biggest problem ever. So we don't value ourselves. So we don't even think we deserve good things. And that's almost everybody. When you're asked to list the things you love in life, how long does it take for you to list yourself? You will list, and oh Lord, you will put everything in the world. You'll never put yourself. And that's where the problem starts. So I didn't even know what self-love is. I didn't even know there's something like self-love. And you're coming from a broken home and you're thinking, for me, this marriage had to work. I'm not going to go back home. I already bailed. I ran away from home. I can go back. It had to work. For me, it was has to work or has to work. And I was willing to compromise a lot of things. You come from a generation that tells you marriage is difficult. Yes, so you have to, as a woman, you build the home. So my mentality was exactly that. So my point was, no matter how bad he is, it's okay. I'll make this work. I will cover. As CJ said, I cover up for so many things. And the problem with covering up and taking it in is that it piles up. It piles up so bad. That's why we have so many crazy cases. Every day you hear either a couple committed suicide, kill the kids. This person is in a marriage that maybe they're getting beaten, they're getting abused on all levels. They just take it in and then come to society. We live in a fake society. So what do you do when you're outside? Smile, you're a happy couple. You don't want to tell people you are going through things. And for me at the moment, I was doing the same exact thing. I remember the funniest thing I always say. There's a time we used to fight. Someone knocks the door, we're perfect. We smile, welcome you, talk. When you leave, we hit play. We just post it. When you're out, we play from exactly where we left it. But you see, for everybody outside, you're perfect, but you're fighting and you end up dying so much inside, it gets to a point you have nothing more to live for and you actually have nothing to lose. And that's a very dangerous point because now you're really broken mentally. You find these people slip into depression, they don't know. You find you're just living with each other, mnavumiliana too, and that's a problem. And that's a problem with women, and this comes back to women. You see, men sometimes don't get too emotional in these things. And that's why a man will hit you and expect you to forgive. And ataka umsamehe, by the way, Annitah. But a woman is going to take it in, get angry, think about it, cook it up. The day it explodes, it's a really, really bad thing. A very bad thing. Yeah.
And so maybe, CJ, because I know you've dealt with some of these cases as well. That's what Annitah was going to. But what goes through like in the mind of the man? What makes a man actually, hit a woman? Is it background? Is it fear? Is it their own insecurities? Yeah,
it's a combination of a lot of factors. Some of them grew up angry because they grew up in families where chaos were the normal. So that's what they took in. That's what they thought was normal. Everybody shouts at each other, everybody disrespects each other, people fight, people curse, people beat. So probably images, sometimes that is the environment. You see your father fighting with your mother, or sometimes it is this kind of broken family where you see different people coming in. Maybe he's raised by different men coming in, so he's angry. He doesn't know how to respond to that, how to react to that. Somewhere along the line he becomes a bully. Most of the time it's there for their own insecurities. Sometimes it's their own emotional lack of development emotionally, so they don't know how to handle issues. When issues come, they blow up. Like Annitah is saying, I asked a question which the person did not like. That shows you the lack of development emotionally. Because if you ask me something that I can't answer, my response is not supposed to be to beat you up. So this is somebody who cannot manage, control, or has not developed their emotions. Sometimes also they're just these guys who feel like I've done you a favor to marry you. So you should be here and shut up. You should not say anything. You should not do anything. You're my property. They're people who have self-entitlement. So anytime you go against them, they're spoiled. They're used to having their way. So anytime they find that you are either questioning or trying to have a divergent opinion, they feel like the only way they will do is to bully you, is to beat you down. So these guys usually, they need help themselves. And you see, it's difficult to pick up that initially because most people, you could find that one side of them is very nice. They give you certain kind of treatment until there is a trigger that is going to provoke the other side. So you nearly see two personalities, and that's very confusing for the person who is abused, because on the one side you see this very loving person, they look like they're caring, and I think that's why some people stay, because they're thinking, but there's this one side that is so good. Then on the other side you see a beast that comes out. It's an area that has not been developed, has not been addressed. Most of the time it's an area that has been hidden, that most people do not know. So people see the one side. In fact, even if you talk about the person and you say, this guy is doing this to me, nobody will believe you because they've never seen that side of this person. It's a side that they've really hidden. It's part of their private struggles. And these guys, usually they also need help. It's just that sometimes they may not admit that they need help.
All right, so, we're still welcoming feedback. I'm seeing some of them already coming in. But use the hashtag Daybreak to talk to us. I want to take a short break. When we come back, like most people are probably wondering, then are there signs, because during the dating period, are there signs that you can pick out that this could turn into abuse. We're going to talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. Hashtag to use is Daybreak. The SMS line is 22422. We're talking about dealing with abusive relationships. And you can also call in 0719 777 777. We'll be back in a moment.